Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Carlos Peña. Welcome to Plakata Nation podcast.
Woo!
I'm joined by the one and only mi primo querido del Bronx. What's going on, my man?
Yeah, we are back. We are
Yes,
back.
sir.
Family, friends, Plakata Nation podcast has returned. We are in this to win it. And we're back at the most exciting time of the year, opening day
Oof,
2023. Let's go, Carlos. Let's
you got,
go. I'm
you
hyped,
gotta
bro.
love it.
I am hyped. I am on levels right now, my man. Yo estoy de candela. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go tomorrow and throw out some innings, yo. I'm ready to go, man. I think I could do it. I think I could do it. If Aaron Boone, if you need me for tomorrow, I'm ready to come out the bullpen for you, bro.
Rod, I don't think you can make that team, man.
Ah, come on. You know,
Oh, yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, I don't even know, bro. Like, it's amazing how opening day just I don't know, you have this extra energy
yeah,
about you. Of course, I'm speaking from a player's perspective,
yeah, yeah,
but no, I mean in general, like I think everyone understands that this is a new beginning. Everyone is so excited about
yeah,
opening day, and this opening day special, Rod,
yeah.
because we have new rules. How about
Oh
that?
man. Oh man. Are these rules we had an episode where we talked about the rules. We went into it in depth, you know what I mean? Anybody that wants to see that episode, please go back into the archive because it's there. Great episode, by the way.
Yeah.
But to see it actually now take place, we saw it in spring training, and the main purpose of these rules were to speed up the game. And Carlos, it worked. From what I've read and from what I've seen, they said half hour to 25 minutes less than your normal MLB game.
You hit the nail right on the head. It has been it's right on the money. The games are a lot more crisp. There's action. There's the dead time has really truly been eliminated. There's
Yes.
no longer these long pitching changes in
No.
between at bats, people stepping out, calling timeout. By the way, I'm a hitter. I gotta tell you that I used to love doing that, man. I used to call timeout. I used to be one of the
How
biggest.
many fractions would you have gotten? How many of you
Oh
would have
my
struck out a few times? I could imagine just because they would have been like, nah. Go sit down.
brother,
Sit down.
listen to me, Rod. I think the rule itself was created because of me. That's how much I took. I took so much time between pitches because I was like, I'm gonna dominate this at bat. It's gonna be my at bat. You're gonna pitch when I tell you to pitch, not when you want to pitch.
Yeah.
And of course, to be quite honest, now looking back at it, of course, I'm trying to get an advantage, but it's not. It's too long, man. Takes
Yeah.
too long. So I like what's going on right now. Maybe I like it more because I'm not playing. I'm
Bro,
it's from
I
a
mean,
fan's perspective.
you called it though. You know what? When we were going over it before, and I had said, who's the advantage? Who's the advantage? You said it. You said the advantage is gonna go to the pitcher. And Carlos, man, these pitchers, brother, they smart. I
Oh yeah,
mean, Max Scherzer he's the first one. He said, "Oh, I'm taking advantage," and he does that quick pitch thing. I see Nestor Cortez. Shout out to Nestor Cortez of the Yankees. Yo, your man's just doing the rocking thing and then throwing it. I mean, it's gonna, as much as these hitters, and obviously you're a major league hitter and you're very good at it. These hitters, they're very good, but I think it's still gonna take a lot of these guys time to get adjusted to these new rules. I still think we might see maybe the first month and a half guys adjusting to it. What do you think, Carlos?
brother. Let me tell you something. You're right. I mean, think about this. Hitting, it's all about timing, right? And now
Mm-hmm.
you have a pitch clock. Okay, so pitchers are going to continue to go through their motion routines. You could say, yeah, some pitchers would like to take a little bit longer between pitches to gather themselves and to really kind of like get their mechanics in order. But I still believe that this is advantage pitcher. Now, this is not to say, all right, I don't. Maybe there are pitchers that are not paying that much attention to the aspect of timing and utilizing the clock to their advantage.
Right.
That is a mistake. That is a mistake. But we cannot assume that every single pitcher is going to be like Max Scherzer, who understands that the biggest advantage is the element of surprise. The hitter has no time to recover. I just threw my fastball up and in. He's late. I can immediately get on the mound and throw him a slider. And that fastball is going to be so fresh in his mind that he's probably going to chase the slider if I tunnel somewhat correctly. So if I make the slider look like the previous fastball, I'm most likely going to get a swing and a miss or a swing, an off-balance swing. Max Scherzer understands that. You saw Nestor Cortez also understanding it and using to his advantage. He actually got a violation because he was too quick. And then he's like, oh, yeah? Now I'm going to wait and run the clock, until the last second.
This is so exciting. Oh, my God. This is so exciting.
Thing, right? Think about it. He didn't do anything different that he wouldn't have done even before the rule. Because when he kicked, when he started doing all these crazy stuff, and he's doing he could have done that last year, same way.
Yeah.
But why does he do that? Because he understands that if he gets the hitter out of cadence, it goes to him. The advantage goes to him. Just brilliant. It's so exciting. Strategy is going to go through the roof.
Yes,
and these smart pitchers are going to take advantage of this.
I'm so excited. I'm planning on going to a few games. I'm planning to go to a Yankee game later this month and a Met game as well. I'm excited to see what the atmosphere is going to feel like in the stadium with these clocks. Like I wonder how are crowds going to react to it. Could we potentially get some sort of a countdown? You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine that? Like, let's say there's a pitcher that's having a meltdown, and there's a good. Let's say Aaron Judge is up, or a friend of a show, Pete Alonso, is up, and there's a pitcher that's struggling up there, and the countdown's coming, and the crowd start counting 3, 2. I mean, that's
what's going to happen.
It's the excitement of it. The newness and the excitement of it, and then the other rules we got to talk about, Carlos, is the base running now. The bases are bigger. The pitcher now can only throw, I believe it's 2 times before the runner advances. Carlos, another question I got for you, brother. Stolen bases. Are we going to see a lot of stolen bases this year?
There are a couple of guys that I'm looking forward to seeing possibly achieve the 30-30 mark. There's a handful that could definitely have the capabilities of doing so. Now that the bases are bigger, but not only that, remember, you just mentioned the disengagement rule, okay?
Yes.
Think about this for a second. A pitcher can only disengage twice, right? And then when he disengages the third time, so he can disengage the third time, it's just that if he doesn't record an out on the disengagement, then it's a balk. Wow. That is crazy. You know why?
Wow.
It's going to have, we're going to see us. We were on a big meeting a couple of days ago talking about these rules. And one of my questions was, hey, are we going to be alert to see what happens and perhaps even make some modifications if things get out of hand? But remember, this is not like the first time they tried it. This has been going on in the minor leagues and everything was working fine. So I don't expect any great changes, but this is what I mean. If I'm at first base and I'm a base stealer and the pitcher throws over twice, then I know that he's going to be reluctant to picking off to first base, because if he doesn't get me out, I go to second. I mean, so as a pitcher, you got to make sure you don't throw twice. You got one. That way you can maintain the element of just not knowing whether the pitcher's coming or not, for the runner. And that helps you control the running game. Yeah. So that's one of the things I'm going to be observing. Also, let's say there is a, you throw over twice. Mm-hmm. Now you have, as a hitter, you're like, oh man, like, the runner is probably going to steal because he doesn't have a disengagement left. So I'm going to have to go home. So, a slide step is coming. Possibly a fastball is coming. And, possibly the location is going to be away because everyone is expecting the runner to steal. So there's a high probability you're going to get fastballs away and the slide step is coming. So if a hitter's smart, you could say, okay, I'm going to err on that side and maybe sit on those pitches. So I don't know. I think the strategy level has been elevated because of these little rule changes that are going to actually have a huge impact.
Yeah, I think there's a, don't get me wrong, there is a bit of reluctance among some fans that say, hey Carlos, we love baseball the way it is. Look at the WBC. It didn't have any of that stuff and it was awesome. It was dramatic, it was breathtaking, it was beautiful baseball. So a lot of people are using the argument of WBC and then comparing it to the upcoming season. And I'll defer to you on it, but I'll say this: I feel like just like with everything, things evolve, and the
Yeah.
game of baseball has to evolve. It is time. You look around all sports. You look around the NFL. You
Mhm.
look around the NBA. You look around hockey. Games are faster now. And those games are different because those are clock based. That is true. But still, regardless of whether they had a clock or not, it's a fast game. It's a quicker paced game, and baseball needed to quicken up its pace somewhat. And I think that these rules are actually good, and I do think it will benefit the game on a level of bringing new eyes to the game. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like
That's
you
right.
could tell a person that doesn't watch baseball, hey, listen, let's check out this game. Oh, okay. Well, who's playing? Mets Braves. And you add the element of the clock, you add the element of these amazing players. The other thing that these rules are going to bring is there's no shift. We're going to get to see Francisco Lindor make these amazing, beautiful web gems happen.
Yeah.
We get to see the defensive aspect of the game lift up again. We're going to see more athletic play in baseball, which is something that a lot of people said was missing.
Yes.
And I'm excited about it. Carlos, what do you think about those people, those detractors, or people that say, oh, the game is fine the way it is? What would your point to them be?
I'd say give it a chance. I mean, when you look at the NFL and the NBA and the changes that they've made throughout the years, they have been plenty, and the entire industry has been better for it. So let's expect the same thing with baseball. I really do. I mean, the health of the game has really been, and the health of the industry has really been it's been growing. Industry has been growing over the last several years. They keep on breaking their own record as far as record revenues, revenue. Every single year. So it's been really good. But still, I think the viewer experience could be better. I heard so many young people say, "I can't watch a baseball game on TV. I just can't." I'm like, "What, man? Like that's sad to hear." It's just too slow. It's like I don't think that's the case anymore. You're talking about 2 hours and a half. As a matter of fact, if you go to a stadium, you better go get your 2 hot dogs right away and get there early, because if you do not get there early and you just like, oh, I'll just get there 20 minutes after, 30 minutes, you might miss 3 innings. That's
Yeah.
how quickly things are happening. And it's forcing action. The shift is one of those things I think is going to be really cool. You just mentioned, by the way, does not reduce strategy. Guys are still shifting. It's just that there is a limitation to how much.
Patient to it. Yes, I did notice that in some of the games. They do move in the infield, but it's just not as extreme as it was before.
Right. And look, if you want to shift. Look, you saw what the Red Sox did to
Yeah.
Joey Gallo. They brought in the left fielder and put him in right field.
Mhm.
But it's going to cost you, because now you only have two outfielders. And what about if Gallo hits a fly ball, and the outfielders cannot track it down? Even
Yeah.
if the numbers say that it's very, it's not probable that he's going to actually hit the ball the other way on
Mhm.
the line. He usually elevates it. It's still, you only have two outfielders. So,
I knew Alex Cora would try that. Listen, I
yeah.
love Alex Cora. He's a Red Sox that I don't like, but that man's mind is beyond anything else. I knew he would be the first one to try to do something. Shout out to Alex Cora. Love to get you on the
He's a
show,
man,
bro.
dude. He's always thinking, brother. He's always thinking.
but you know what, Carlos? I'm so excited for this upcoming season. You said it. The hype levels are higher than ever. I think a lot of that did have to do with the WBC. I think the WBC was very exciting for a lot of people, and I think baseball is now at this peak where it hasn't been in a while. And I also feel like there's a lot of competition now, and I want to segue that into what we're going to talk about, which
Yeah,
is our predictions.
yeah.
There's a lot of competition around the league. There's a lot of very, very good teams. It's not it. I feel like there's more parity, if I'm
Yeah.
using the right word, amongst teams where, yeah, you do have certain teams that are above the rest, but I feel like the really great teams or really, really good teams, that field is a lot more crowded now.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, you just mentioned how the schedule is now even more balanced, so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Like you see the talent, yeah, it's balanced. It's teams. We have a lot of really good teams that have been good for a while, but we have teams like the Orioles that you're like,
Yes.
hey,
Oh
watch out,
man.
watch out for the
Oh man. I'm
Orioles.
scared. I'm scared of
You
them.
never know what's gonna happen with
Yeah.
the Orioles.
Yeah.
So when you look at the fact that every single ball club is going to be playing everybody, instead of, for example, a team beating up on a weak division, that's
Yeah.
no longer going to be the case. You're going to have to get out of your division and play some of the stronger teams. So you can't hide as much as
As
before.
you used
Remember,
to.
there were times that you would have a division winner that would have, I mean, it's happened a few times, not a lot, but a couple of times, where you have a division winner who had a lesser record than a team that missed the wild card, for example,
Yeah.
somewhere else. We've seen that happen. Well, this type of balance eliminates that type of stuff. But I agree with you, man. There's some exciting players, exciting ball clubs. Let's go right ahead and talk about
All
the
right.
National League really quick. All
Which
right,
one then? We're starting with the National League.
National League. Let's go to National League.
All right,
The
let's go with
White
the
Ones.
East. Let's go with the East. National
All
League
right, all
East.
right.
We're East Coast guys.
We are the East Coast.
That is a tough division. We always said it. It's Braves, Mets, Phillies, Marlins. Man,
Yeah.
that's tough, man. And you think about the Mets last year. We spoke about them, how they won over 100 games, and they didn't even make it to the second round. You got the Braves, you got the Phillies that went all the way to the World Series with 80 some odd games,
Yeah.
87 wins, I believe it was.
So,
Carlos,
right.
who you got coming out of the NL East?
All right. So when I look at the NL East, obviously you have two juggernauts right at the top, the Mets and the Atlanta Braves. When I look at the Atlanta Braves, they are pretty much intact, and now you have a extremely hot hitter who seems to just have landed and has feels comfortable now in Atlanta and had a monster spring. And we're talking about Olson at first base that
Yeah,
replaced, replaced Friedman and first base. Now is covered for the Atlanta Braves. I don't
yes
think
it
anyone
is.
is going to be thinking, okay, we
Freeman, we miss
miss
Freeman.
Freeman. Not anymore. Everyone is really excited about this power outburst that Olsen had in spring training. So think about them. I have them. The pitching staff is ridiculous.
Mhm.
Even with the injury to Wright, like the pitching staff still just so good. I'm thinking that they will win that division. They will eclipse the Mets, and that's a bold prediction because the Mets are so good. And I hate doing
Yes.
predictions, but just for the sake of fun.
Yo, no, we're having fun right now. This is
Yeah,
fun. This
yeah.
is
I
all
mean,
for
I hate doing
fun.
predictions because I'm like, oh my goodness, how can we predict 162 games? All I'm just saying that the Braves are equipped
Yeah.
to go ahead and repeat as champions of the National League East. Then you have
Yeah.
the Mets. They're going to grab a wild card. Now, this is when it's going to get crazy. I think the Phillies also grab a wild card
Yeah.
again, even missing Hoskins with a big injury to Hoskins. They'll be
That's a massive
weather the
injury. Yeah.
storm. We're going to have Harper hopefully coming sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So now we have three teams out of the National League East. How about
Jesus.
that?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
be
I
surprised.
agree. I agree with the prediction. I think the Braves are a very, very strong contender. I really like the Mets.
They're so good.
There's so much
So
talent
good.
on that team. The Diaz injury, unfortunately,
That's
that
it.
is a massive, massive. I mean, that's something that you can't really cover that injury. You could hope that Ottavino steps in and does a job, or Robinson steps in and does a job, or maybe they make a move and get somebody. But I think that injury does set them back a bit. I do agree with your assessment on that, though. So yes, I agree that the Braves are they'll edge them out. I'll say that. I will say that will come down to it. That's
Yeah.
gonna be this is one of these years where you're like, man, I wish there were more division games, because those two teams, it's a boxing match. It is a
No.
heavyweight phone booth fight, but I do think the Braves edge them out. But We'll get into the playoffs. We'll get into the playoffs. And NL Central, Carlos. Who you got, man?
Yeah, that one is interesting because we have the Brewers, we have the Cubs, we have the St. Louis Cardinals, and I really feel like the Cardinals are going to be at the top of that division and win it. The Cubs are going to be in the hunt for a wild card spot.
They got better. Cubs got better. Cubs got better.
I mean, I'm thinking somewhere in the 80s as far as wins are concerned. They'll be out there. The Brewers with the pitching staff that they have. It's one of those things like, man, you would think they would also be in the hunt. So, but there's, the way I have been predicting, there's only spot if you're gonna get to the postseason, you got to win the division.
Yes,
you know where I'm going because let's say I think St. Louis takes that division.
Okay? I think so too.
But this is the thing, Rod. So now we have St. Louis winning the division. We have 3 teams coming out of the East. Let's go to the West, bro. Let's
boy. Okay. So obviously the West is we got 2 heavyweights there. There's no way in saying it. You have the Los Angeles Dodgers. You have the San Diego Padres. Respect to the Rockies. Respect to the Diamondbacks. You guys are up and coming. Hopefully sooner than later. But this division is those 2 giants. Carlos, let me say my prediction on this one. How can San Diego is literally putting all their chips in the middle of the table, man. They're going all in. They are saying, nope, this is our division. We're gonna do it. I got San Diego winning that division, man.
Wow. Okay. See, I have no beef whatsoever with that at all. However, I'm like, man, after the dominance of the Dodgers, it's almost out of just pure respect for what they've been able to accomplish. I almost feel like, okay, man, you got the title, you got it.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna bet against you, even though I think they were a better team last year. Okay. Yeah. So they have quote unquote regressed. It's just that I'm thinking that the regression is like 100 wins. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're gonna have a bad season. So let's just say this. I'm gonna stay with the Dodgers.
Okay.
Totally understanding that the San Diego Padres could very much dethrone them, but the king has been on the throne for nearly a decade. So let's just say, okay, you won that division, you're gonna have to knock the champs out. Yeah. So I'm gonna still give the benefit of the doubt to the Dodgers. But that I wanted to give you that caveat and give you
and that's fine. I could see a lot of people saying that. I'm just feel like the Padres are giving me the feeling that the Los Angeles Rams in the NFL did a few years back, where that they said, you know what, we're going all in. We're making all these moves. We have to win. It has to be World Series or bust. Like that's what they're doing. And all these moves they're making, they're hedging all their bets and they're saying, no, we got to do it. And I just feel like there's so much talent on that team. And those guys, I think they know what the mission is. And I think that ownership, that front office, they're all in. They're all with that mental collective of like, no, we're making the moves because we want to be the best. And that's why I have them coming out west. But I mean, listen, those playoffs with all these teams we just mentioned, man, those playoffs are going to be insane for the NL pennant, man. It's going to be insane.
And listen, you know what's going to happen. So whatever team misses out on that division, the Dodgers or let's say the Padres, you know that they're going to grab the other wild card. So it's going to be an absolute battle.
When you mean to tell me that's going to be a one-gamer, Carlos?
That's
crazy. One freaking gamer. That's man.
That's why winning the division is so
it's crucial.
It's so crucial. Now, I see this. And your record matters so much as well. I think that the way that they've structured, MLB has structured the postseason, it's been so fabulous, man. Like it's made the game so much better. Quickly, let's look at San Diego. Let's look at that lineup. You got Bogarts, you got Soto, you got Manny Machado. Wow, man, what a player! What a player we're talking about,
man. He's a stud.
Expecting
stud.
Tatis to come back and really be a contributor. He's going to play with extra motivation.
Yes, he is.
How about Nelson Cruz as a leader? You're like, oh, he's an older player. I'm expecting Nelson Cruz to get some big hits
Yeah.
for that
Matt Carpenter. Matt
Carpenter.
freaking Carpenter. You saw what he did with the Yankees last year. I
Yes,
mean, had him. Cronenworth.
Cronenworth is
Another
awesome.
guy that's not mentioned. That's one of those guys that you
Bogarts,
want to have on your team. Come on, man. Come on.
Bogarts.
Come on,
How
man.
about that?
Xander, come on, man. I mean, it's studs left and right, man. Like that's a team that you, like I said, that team, they're there for business, man. Like they're not playing around. It's not a game. I think those guys know that, hey, listen, we're going into the clubhouse. This is the office. Punch in. Let's do this game. Let's get this win. Let's go home. That's the mentality, man. There's guys there that want to get a ring. You know, Soto got his ring. You know what I mean? But there's guys there that want to win that championship. They want to do it, and they know that it's a mission. And that's why, man, I'm telling you, that team they're hungry, man. They were close last year to going,
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm expecting a big year from Soto. I think it's kind of
huge.
obvious. I'm expecting a massive year. We'll get into the awards thing a little later,
All
but
right.
I'm expecting a massive year from Soto. But let's transition
Yeah,
now to the AL, man. Let's move forward with the AL. Let's start with the West, and then
yeah.
we'll work our way east. So, who do you got out the West? AL West. What you got, man?
All right, so we got the Mariners.
You got the Mariners. You got the Houston Astros, the Kings. We have
Well,
the
let's do that
Texas
because these guys are
Rangers.
still so good, dude.
Yeah, the Texas Rangers, and we have the A's. Now, I'm going to take the A's out of the equation and the Angels out of the equation.
Oh, you're taking the Angels out of the equation.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I may get a lot of hate from Anaheim with this, but I'm taking them out of the equation.
I mean, but this is the thing. So I'm thinking Houston repeats. In their division.
Oh man,
they're so good, brother.
They are. But man, let me tell you, Seattle's coming, bro.
Seattle's good.
Seattle is coming, and I don't think that division is gonna be as easy as it was before. I can see the Astros winning because they are the vets. In all honesty, they lost Verlander, but their lineup got better.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the Mariners have this hunger, and it's almost like they could taste it. They taste that arroz and habichuela and that pollo. You know what I mean? They taste
right there.
it.
You can't wait to
and
have
they
it.
want it. They want that, and they want that division. But I agree with you. I think the Astros are the darlings. They are the kings.
Yeah, it's like I have like the same concept as with the Dodgers. They just need to be dethroned. Now I'm looking at the Mariners definitely in the postseason, so they grab a wild card spot. Now let's continue. Let's move to the Central.
Okay, Central.
What you got there? We got the Twins. We got the Chicago Cubs.
Not the White Sox, the Guardians.
But notice what I did there. I'm saying the Guardians are the ones who grab the Central.
Oh yeah.
Again, their brand of baseball, man. Yeah. They play. I don't know. They play this brand of baseball where they
almost beat the Yankees last year. They were almost in the ALCS last year. Yes. Let's not forget that they took the Yankees to 5 games. They were almost there, and that's a team that you look around and all they have is Jose Ramirez in terms of superstar power. Everything else, there's a lot of young guys that are coming up in that organization. And man, you know what? Props to Tito. Tito Francona, man.
I mean, I'm looking at this over here, and you looking at Quan. Jimenez, by the way, just signed a big deal with the.
Congrats to him, man. Congrats to him.
It's just well deserved,
Yes. And of course, our guy, our paisan, Clase.
No. Ese hombre, mano. Oye, es con una sierra eléctrica que sale de allá del bullpen. It's like
we missed him.
It's unbelievable. He comes over.
I don't want to talk about it. We'll talk about it later, but we missed him.
He's absolutely.
I'll get into it later. What we missed.
I'm thinking the Guardians win the Central.
Yes, I agree.
The West, we have the Astros. The Mariners are grabbing a wild card spot.
I know where you're getting at now.
Are you?
I know where you're getting at now.
They're like, the Twins are more. They're very improved. They're not as bad as they were last year. The Chicago White Sox, they have an incredible pitching staff, And
They just got to stay healthy. That's the thing with the White Sox. The White Sox have a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent on that team. But I need a full year out of Eloy. Eloy needs to give me
yeah,
at
man.
least 145 to 150 games because he hasn't given us that. Same thing with Luis Robert. You know what I mean? We need that. We need a healthy Tim Anderson. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
need that.
yeah.
We need these guys. We need these
And Luis
guys to
Robert, no,
stay
no.
healthy.
I look at Luis swing and Luis Robert swing and the way he, runs, and he's like a football player, honestly, like
Yeah.
as far as like his build is concerned. But I
Yes.
love his swing. He can get to the elevated fastball, which is key if you're gonna succeed in this game nowadays. But it's gonna be tough, and this is why. Okay, for the White Sox and for the Twins, if we give the division, if we say that the Guardians are the division winners, we already have 3 teams that are in the postseason. We need 3 more.
Yes.
And we're going to move over to the East.
Oof.
All right. So,
Oh my
who
God.
wins the East? Okay. Now, this is not an easy.
No, it's not. It is not. It is
It's
not
not in the
easy.
pocket already.
Nope. And I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan. I root for them. I love them. That's my team that I grew up with. Even when Carlos played for the enemy, you know what I mean? That was my team. But this division is as hard as it's, I think, been in a very, very long time. So we'll start off with the Yankees. I'm not saying they win the division. I'm just saying that we got the Yankees. We have the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have a lot to prove. I don't know if you remember. You might have been one of them, Carlos. Last year at this point, they were everybody's favorite to go to the World Series and even win because there's so much talent on that team.
Yeah.
And they have a lot to prove. I think last year, the Blue Jays got hit with just the fact that there was a lot of pressure put on them. And I think that pressure got to them and it choked them out. And I'm not saying that they choked, but I'm saying the pressure and having to win that division really, really, really put a lot on them. And this year, going through that year and dealing with everything they had to deal with, lost their manager midway, which helped them actually. But now they're back. They're probably more focused than ever. Vladi, Bo Bichette, the rest of the gang, they're ready. That division is theirs for the taking as well. Then you got, we said it before, the team that never, ever, ever, ever quits. And at this point, I can't call them the little engine that could. They are the engine that could because that's what they've done. And that's the Tampa Bay Rays. You cannot sleep on this team. It's at this point, it should be taught in schools, literally in schools, what this team does. I mean, it's incredible. Carlos, you were in that organization. You know of that organization. I mean, my man, how?
Yeah. They have come up with a culture. They have built a culture there to pretty much, just maximize everyone's potential. I was doing this the other day. I mean, I could count players, including myself. When I got over to Tampa Bay, and with the coaching that I got, with the information that was shared with me, I blossomed. Right, like my talent was able to express itself, and it really reached its maximum potential when I got to the Rays. But I can say the same thing about Joaquin Benoit. I can say the same thing about Fernando Rodney. I can say the same thing about, a guy like Peralta, also, in the pen. Like he gets over there and Joel Peralta becomes, a solid, reliever. I don't know. I could go on and on and tell you, Johnny Gomes like gets over there and, starts, became a household.
It's a mentality. It's like a mentality that they have. It's the culture. You said it, man.
I understand. Look, the front office is doing everything they can to make sure that they do anything that's in their power to be able to execute, to be able to maximize the players, their scouting, the player development. So there's something happening there. The way they play the game, the way they even manage their pitching staff is absolutely ridiculous. So we can expect, I'm going to say this, we can expect the Rays to be a postseason team, but notice I'm not saying that they're going to win the division because I do not have them winning the division.
And we have another team, before you continue, that we can no longer ignore. We cannot ignore this team. And that is the Baltimore Orioles. I remember telling my friends last year, they're coming. As soon as they called up this kid, Adley Rutschman, I think his name, Adley Rutschman, I remember they said as soon as they called him up, the pitching staff completely changed. That I don't know what that kid did, but it
He
changed
understands,
everything.
man.
I mean, you got him, you got Cedric Mullins, you got the other kid, the rookie Gunnar. I think was it Gunnar Smith. I'm skipping on his last
Henderson.
name. I'm so sorry, but I mean, they have these kids coming up now that are changing and we use the word culture, but they are changing the culture of that clubhouse and that team. And that team now knows they're not pushovers anymore. They're not pushovers anymore. And that division, if they fight, they could find themselves in a playoff spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's what you have to be careful with the Orioles. You know, you cannot write them off. I think they're going to be in the hunt for
Yes.
a wild card spot. I don't think they make it, but I have them in the 80s, man. So
Yeah.
if 80 something wins, you are in the mix. You're in the
Yeah.
mix.
That's massive improvement for that team. 80 some odd wins is, I mean, think about it. We said it last year, man. Look at the World Series. Look at the team. Look at the team that the Phillies made it with 80 some odd wins to the World
Yeah.
Series. So saying a team wins 80 some odd games, it's not a negative.
No, that is absolutely excellent. And, you know, especially a team that I think has arrived early into the party. I think no one expected them to be
No, not
competitive.
this soon. Not this
Not this
quick.
soon. And then let's go. So we got the Rays in there. I think the Rays are going to edge the Orioles for a wild card spot.
Yes.
The Blue Jays, I still have them. Okay, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to have them just right below the Yankees, but certainly getting into the postseason, a wild card spot, and the Yankees winning that division. So that's
Yeah,
the way.
I think the Yankees have that division. I think there's a lot of the Yank, and I'll be quick on this. I know I'm a Yankee fan, so I'm very passionate about this, but I'm very critical of my team. I love the fact that they gave Anthony Volpe a chance, man. That is awesome. That kid is, for all intents and purposes, he's a good kid. Grew up in Jersey, grew up a Yankee fan, Derek Jeter fan above all. You know, he gets it. And for them to finally say, you know what, you came up in the spring, you did everything. You did way more than we expected you to do. You earned this spot, and he did. He did for the most part. A lot of people didn't expect him to win that spot or to get that opportunity. They thought he was going to have to spend maybe half the year in the minors before they called him up again. But he did it. He won. Hopefully, him being in that lineup reinvigorates that lineup, adds some much needed youth and speed to that lineup. And hopefully a lot of these players that are hurt come back and helps the team this season, because, you know, that's the thing with the Yankees. They have a lot of injury problems. And could those injury problems maybe derail them a little bit to make the Blue Jays get in there and win that division? We'll have to wait and see. But I agree with Carlos. I think the Yankees win the East. So, Carlos, we're in the playoffs now. We got our chances decided here. Who do you have? We'll do this even quicker. Who do you have coming out of the NL? Give us the NL. Who you got coming out the NL?
National League, San Diego Padres. Boom. You're like, what? Yes, the San Diego Padres. Eclipsing the Dodgers and moving forward past the Dodgers, and just saying, "Hey, get out of the way. It's our time." San Diego Padres are the most improved team in all of baseball, in my opinion. So at the end of the day, when you get to the postseason and everything is just like, hey, you need to post right now and execute the plays right now. Doesn't matter what you did in the 162 games. I just think the Padres are going to have this extra energy behind them. They're going to be extra motivated, and obviously the talent is there. Okay, so I got the Padres coming out of the National League, and I have the Toronto Blue Jays coming out of the American League.
Wow.
All right, and let me go ahead and finish it off. Now, again, this is this is a game that sometimes it's not too fun to play, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to execution in a short series. Who's going to execute short series?
Yeah.
San Diego Padres wins the world. They win the World Series. So I got San Diego Padres being world champions.
Wow. All right. So let me jump on in with you. NL. I have an NLCS. I got Padres versus Mets. I think that's going to be an incredible series. I think that series even goes 7. and I think the Padres edge them out. Why? Because there's no Edwin Diaz.
I'm telling you,
I
that is
think
such
that's
a big
huge.
handicap.
That's a Yeah, that is a massive loss, and I think that the Padres will edge out the Mets for that reason. I do think the Mets will probably try to make moves to get a closer. They Who knows? Maybe they reach out to to Cincinnati and get Diaz's brother. We don't know. This is all speculation on my part, but I agree with you, Carlos. I think the Padres do edge out the Mets to go to the World Series. And in the American League, I have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Go with your heart, bro. Like honestly, like yeah. Go ahead, man. It's okay. It's okay. I know you can't do it any other way. I respect you for that, brother. I do.
Uh, I got the Houston Nationals coming out.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow,
Yeah, I
man.
do.
You know what? That
I got
takes
the
me.
Houston Nationals coming out. I got them. I don't got them beating the Yankees. Actually, I think the Yankees. Unless the Yankees make some moves and stuff, I don't think they'll advance in the playoffs. I don't see them advancing deep in. I actually have them beating Seattle. I think Seattle will push them to maybe 7 games, 6 or 7 games. But I think the Astros come out. But in the World Series, we have the San Diego Padres beating
Oh, we
the
did not
Houston
talk. We did
Astros.
not talk.
Yes, we
I
did
wrote
not
my
talk.
list over
Swear to
here.
God, we did not talk. We
We
did
did
not
not talk.
talk.
Okay. Wow. How about
Yeah, I think that Carlos, I said it, man. Listen, the Padres are on a mission. They are on a mission, and it's all chips in the middle of the table. They're all in. They are all in.
yeah,
Um,
that's an
you
understatement.
got players that they're trying to win. Matt Machado wants to win a championship. You know what I'm saying? Bogarts has won. Soto has won. Out of that group there, Machado and Tatis, but more Machado because he's been in the league as long as the other guys. He wants a taste, and he's hungry and he knows that this is the best
Yes.
opportunity he's ever gonna have. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, Carlos, we don't know what's gonna happen after this season. After this season, we're gonna go into a massive void of free agency. We don't know what is gonna happen. We have that void of Shohei Ohtani. We don't know where he's gonna go.
Yeah.
Soto is a big question mark. Can the Padres afford Soto as well on this team? We don't know. So I think the longer we go into his contract with less years left, the Padres are going to start to ask questions of, should we keep this guy? Should we move him? What do we do? This is the opportunity. They have to win now, and I
The
think this
window's
is I
now.
think this is it.
The window's now, and you can't foretell the future. I mean, meaning I shouldn't say that the window's now. I'm just saying that there's a very good probability. You're very well equipped,
Yeah,
right, to have to achieve the goal of becoming a champion.
yeah.
It's just so that team is so talented.
Yeah, they are. They're a very talented team, and it figures. You got the Houston Nationals who are also very talented. You know what I mean? They've you look at every position, they're covered. You know what I mean? They're super talented. The pitching staff they have, super talented. The culture of winning that's there. It's you can't. The reason I bring, and it was hard for me to put the Astros in there again. I'm a Yankee fan, but I look at the Astros and I get the
I heard
vibe that a lot of people got the vibes of the Yankees in the 90s, where there's this culture of winning, where they find themselves in these positions to win. The Astros always find themselves in a position to win. That's something that I can't look at. I can't ignore, because the team that I root for in the 90s, the Yankees, they were that same team. They put themselves in positions to win. And teams like that, they always find their way in. They always do. They always do. I just think that the Padres are that team to beat them, and I think that's what happens, man. I think the Padres are the World Series champions of 2023.
I'm with it.
You heard it here,
Amazing.
folks.
Amazing that
But
we agree.
we'll come back to these predictions. You know what I mean? Because listen, things could change. Injuries could happen. Additions could be made.
You say
Like I said, listen. I know I said I didn't include the Angels in the division. I really do think, and I really do think the Angels are a team that they need to look in the mirror. They need to look into the mirror early this season, and they need to figure out what they are going to do. And right now, that's a team that has to look at who they have on their roster, and they have to look at what they're going, what's happening in the future. I've said
Well,
it before on this in this podcast, Carlos. I don't think Otani's going to be there. He's going to be a free agent. That man's either going to be in LA or he's going to be playing in New York.
yeah,
And when I say New York, I'm
yeah.
saying New York. It could be the Mets. It could be the Yankees. We don't know. I'm leaning more towards the Mets. But I say in those three, it's one of those three teams because I don't think it's going to happen. And
I can see
then
that. I can see that.
if you're and Carlos, I don't know, you're a player, you understand, the business aspect, and as a player, if you're the Angels and you decide to move Otani in season, because again, he's going to walk for nothing.
Yeah,
And if they're out of it early,
man,
man,
I
if
just
they're
don't see
out
that
of it,
happening. That's
if
crazy. I
they're
get what
out
you're
of it
saying.
early, man.
I know what you're
Carlos,
saying, but I just cannot see that. Oh my god, I just cannot see that
Carlos,
happen.
but it's a
I think
business thing,
Moreno.
bro.
I think Moreno wants a shot at it. Moreno wants a shot at him.
Oh man, bro,
it's gonna be tough. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But I'm gonna tell you this. There's a team. You got Rendon, you have Otani, and you have
yeah.
Rendon looks like he's healthy. The pitching staff is not as bad. So I expect them to have a winning season. How deep and how high can they go? Remains to be seen. It's a team that's had to overcome a lot of obstacles. So I'm not too high on the Angels, but I'm certainly they certainly look better than last year. They really do. So we'll see.
I hope so. I hope so for their sakes and for the sakes of Otani and Trout, because you saw what their star power did, especially in the WBC. You saw what that was like, that atmosphere. And it would be great to see them in a position where they could show that off to everyone else again in the postseason. It's hard for me to just put them in there because we said it ourselves, man. Listen, that division, are they better than the Mariners? No. Are they better than the Astros? No. So then that means that they have to compete with the other teams for wins for the wild card. I have a hard time seeing it, man. I do. So that's why I said the Angels are going to have to really look into the mirror and decide what they're going to do with Otani. And not only Otani, could they, I know this is unthinkable, but I'm going to say it anyway, could they possibly move on from Mike Trout? Could they do it? Listen, if you want to rebuild quick, you want to get prospects quick, you move the thing that's going to get you the most back.
It's just that I don't see Moreno, the Moreno family, Artie Moreno, the owner. Yeah, I just do not see him letting go. You know what I mean? Okay. Like he wants to go after it. I almost see him trying to figure out a way to bring more players in if he needs to. That remains to be seen.
All right, listen, we'll put a pin on this. We'll come back this later in the season. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Hopefully, that they are better and maybe they're in contention for that wild card or the division. I could only hope so because that only means it's more action and more stuff for us to talk about. Let me go in quickly. Let's go in with awards real quick. Who you got winning the AL MVP, Carlos?
My goodness. All right, AL MVP. Wow. I'm looking at you gotta like this player right here because I've been saying this about Bo Bichette for 2 or 3 years. The other day, Brian Kenny picked him, and he didn't let me pick him because he picked first. And I'm like, man, my heart was really Bo Bichette. It has been like that for the past 3 years or so. This player is just so dynamic. So it's a wild card pick. You know what I mean? It's not something that I don't think people would think. It's just that I don't think we have seen the best of him yet. So Bo Bichette, wild card pick.
All right, good. Bo Bichette. AL, I have, you know what? I am going to pick somebody different. Most people will probably assume, Otani or maybe because I'm a Yankee fan, they'll assume Judge. I am going to take my man in Cleveland, Jose Ramirez, because that man has been overlooked for a very long time. That guy is a stud. Eso es un caballo.
Yeah.
And he is the superstar of that team. He is the guy. You know what I mean? The only thing missing from that man's mantle outside of a World Series ring is an MVP. I'll give him the MVP for the AL.
Let's go with it.
He's a beast.
With that at all.
He's a beast. Now,
it's unbelievable.
I'm gonna jump into rookie of the year for the American League. I'm gonna give it to my boy Anthony Volpe. He is going to win, and he's gonna win the rookie of the year. Last
Yeah,
Yankee to
I'm
do
with
that
you,
was Aaron Judge.
Anthony
So
Bobby.
I'm
I'm
going with
with
that.
you 100%. Let's
Yes, yes.
keep it rolling. What you got on the
Cy
next
Young,
topic?
Cy Young, Cy Young, Cy Young, American League, Cy Young,
Okay,
American
Cy
League, Cy
Young,
Young. Who
American
you got
League.
for American League, Cy Young?
Hmm. You know, when I look at what what Max Scherzer's been doing with the pitch clock, I'm thinking to myself, could this be the year that he goes ahead and gets his fourth Cy Young? And the
Mm,
answer is yes. I don't think any other pitcher in baseball it's going to
okay,
be it's going to take advantage of the pitch clock the way Max Scherzer will. So
okay. So
there's
NL
this
Cy Young, you have
NL Cy Young. So I'm thinking that you asked me about AL
AL,
Cy Young. So I
AL,
just give
yeah,
you my NL Cy Young. that's how much I have him in my head. Uh,
yeah.
when I'm looking at the AL, yeah. Look, man, I had this conversation. We were talking, looking at the Yankees. We were looking at the Blue Jays, and I'm like, okay, Manoa is this guy that has absolutely electric stuff. And I think
Hmm.
also he has matured mentally. So Alek Manoa from the Toronto Blue Jays
Okay.
as American League Cy Young Award winner.
All right, all right. Manoa, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I am going to give the AL Cy Young to another Yankee. I'm going to give it to Garrett Cole. I think Garrett Cole is a guy. I think Garrett Cole is a
You
guy
talked
that
about
is
the Yankees.
being
I told you. Yes.
very. He's not being looked at a lot. When I saw a lot of top 10 stuff, he's out of it. And I'm like, how do you ignore this man? This man has 260 strikeouts last year. I think he broke the franchise record for a single season for a pitcher. Um, he had his issues last year with home runs. He did. I feel like he comes back even more motivated than he did the year before because he has something to prove. He's a competitor. You saw that guy. You know he is. And I think he's looking at all that stuff. And he's like, oh, okay, you guys aren't talking about me at all. Bet.
Hey,
I
Rod, I'll
got
tell
you.
you what, bro. I also had a conversation with him. I was over there in spring training, had a good
Mhm.
talk with him. And this is the thing. He is revisiting the mentality that he had when he was in Houston, and he's checking out the strategy that really elevated him to a totally different stratosphere as far as
Mhm.
pitching is concerned. So I expect him to come on
Yeah.
extremely strong. Um, that's a good pick. That's a
That
great
is,
pick.
and I think also I'm gonna give credit to Carlos Rondon, who's on the team. I
Yeah.
think that guy's gonna feed into him a lot because Rondon, you see him, he's a bulldog. That guy's not scared, and I think he's gonna have an effect on him. So I'm telling you, I think Garrett Cole's gonna win the AL Cy Young. So okay, let's go transition over to the NL.
Yeah.
NL Cy Young, you said it was Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer.
I like that pick, and you know what I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go with his counterpart, Justin Verlander. I think Justin Verlander is gonna
Again.
win.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
I think he is, man. I think he is. I think
these guys are nasty,
Verlander.
man.
Yeah, that's why that team, man. That's why I got them going to the. I got them going all the way to the NLCS, man. That's a nasty team. Remember, I said it, Carlos. I said they're gonna win a World Series either this year or the following year. So I think he's gonna win the NL Cy Young. Who do you have for the NL MVP? Who you got?
An MVP. I was looking at Olson for the Atlanta Braves, um, and at Pete Alonso. So
Mm, our boy,
listen to
friend
me,
of the
man.
show.
And I'm like, okay, Olson, you swinging the bat extremely well in spring training. I said that even before he was swinging the bat like that in spring training, but I'm going to stick with Pete Alonso. He is my favorite for MVP of the National League. As a matter of fact, the last year I thought he got overlooked
Yeah.
um, for the MVP, even though I know he got his votes. But I'm just saying, um, that his when you look at his OPS plus and his advanced numbers, it was absolutely almost identical to his
Yeah.
53 home run
Yeah.
season. It's just that the offensive environment in 2019 what's perhaps a little bit more favorable towards the hitter, and that's why he got penalized there a little bit. But
Yes.
he had a monster season last year. I expect another monster season. He's my MVP.
Yeah. I love Pete. Listen, we had him on the show. For those, please, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's an excellent interview. You can't walk away from that interview and not love this guy. You see the focus and the hunger he has in his eyes, and you could tell that guy's probably always thinking about hitting. He's always thinking about it. He's always. You could see it in his eyes. He has. What I noticed in the interview with Pete was you can see in his eyes he's very serious, but he's serious in a way where it's like you can respect that, and you could be like, man, I'd love to have that guy on my team, or I'd love to play with that guy.
He's a gamer, brother.
He's a gamer. That guy's ready. So I love that pick. I love it, love it, love it. Unfortunately, I have him second. I have him second, and who did I pick to win the World Series? As a San Diego, the MVP is going to be none other than our boy Juan Soto from the San Diego Padres. Let me tell you something right now. Juan Soto has, I don't want to say he has a lot to prove because the kid's he's already great. But I know last year a lot of people were like, look at those numbers. What happened? I think you're going to get Juan Soto this year. You're going to get Juan Soto this year. And he's going to destroy the baseball in ways that people are going to be like, oh, that's Juan Soto. Man. Yes, that's Juan Soto. He is your NL MVP for 2023.
That's a good pick. Very good pick. Man, it's just so many great players. You're like, okay, who's gonna
it's hard.
I also like context, and that's why, look, we're not going to get into this. That's why we need the most outstanding player award and the MVP award. Because I think I'm utilizing a lot of context and the story of the Mets and how they will get to the postseason.
Yes.
It's going to matter. But at the end of the day, most outstanding player, look, I mean, you can flip a coin. We have so many to choose from, but Juan Soto's a great pick. So
I was wrestling with this, Carlos, when we came up with the rundown today. I was wrestling, man, who am I going to pick? I had Pete. I decided on Soto. You know who else I decided on? Who I think is going to have a monster year? That I'm going to say these numbers, and I feel like if you do these numbers, you automatically have to win the MVP. I was thinking Acuna. I think Acuna's going to go 40-40, man. I think he's going to go 40-40. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to do it. That kid is oozing talent. Like he that guy runs and he loses more talent than anybody could ever wish they had. He's so good. And that's why I said the excitement of baseball this year is at an all-time high. Quickly, NL Rookie of the Year. I got the kid that everybody's talking about that San Diego called up, Jordan Walker, the third baseman. They're saying the kid has got pop. He could hit. And I feel like, that's a team that, we always talk about, how we always talk about Houston, that Houston has this culture. Quietly, the Cardinals have that culture too. They always find themselves always find themselves in the playoffs. And you look around and you're like, wow, well, why? And then you look at that team like, wait a minute, there's a lot of talent on this team. You can't tell me that Jordan Walker is not going to learn anything from Nolan and from Goldschmidt. I mean,
come on, man. Yeah,
dude, that kid's going to pick up a lot of stuff, and he already has the talent for it. I could see him doing it. I also remember you said in one of our past episodes, if the kid gets the opportunity, that's our boy from Licey, Ronnie Mauricio. If the Mets ever called him up and gave him a chance, he could possibly win. But right now, he's not on the roster, so I'm not including him. They send him down. But obviously, that was a name that you had mentioned before. So keep out a lookout for him, Mets fans and baseball fans, because he's exciting.
Yeah, no doubt about it, bro. Like I want to show you my notes right now, but Jordan Walker is my pick for NL Rookie of the Year. I mean,
we did not talk.
We did not talk.
We did not talk.
We didn't talk about this.
We did not talk.
Look, hey, he has a superior approach at the plate, and bro, he absolutely crushes the baseball. He's going to be a StatCast darling. Because the exit velocities are going to be through the roof.
Nasty. Big kid too. Big guy. 6'5", 240. He is he's a major league he's a major league NFL baseball linebacker who plays third base.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Seriously. Pretty much. Carlos, we did our rundown. I
know we ran through. We did a lot of information here.
I did. I have a question of the day that I have to ask you. It pains me to ask you. because it hurt me.
Oh,
It comes from somebody named Miguel from Santo Domingo de la República Dominicana.
hey,
Yes. It's in Spanish, so I will say it in Spanish and then I'll translate.
está bien.
Carlos, ¿por qué nuestro equipo dominicano, con todas sus estrellas, fracasaron en el Clásico Mundial? Carlos, why did our team from the Dominican Republic, with all their superstars, failed in the WBC?
Wow, Miguel, esa es una pregunta que me la han hecho muchísimas personas. Claro está, o sea, la respuesta es bastante simple, ¿ok? No importa el nombre que uno lleve en la espalda, para nada. O sea, estábamos repletos de superestrellas. Pero al fin y al cabo hay que ejecutar las jugadas, hay que dar el batazo, ¿entiendes? Hay que hacer los lanzamientos para ganar un partido de béisbol. Y lamentablemente hay que decir la verdad, nuestro equipo no pudo dar el batazo oportuno. Con corredores en posición anotadora no pudimos dar la talla. Eso sucede porque talento teníamos de sobra, pero simplemente nos derrotaron. Los otros equipos jugaron mejor que nosotros. Venezuela jugó mejor que nosotros. Puerto Rico jugó mejor que nosotros. Y entonces llega un punto en que uno dice, simplemente nos vencieron y ya. Y creo que ahí es donde podemos dar la cosa. Ahora, claro está, desde un punto de vista analítico, podemos hablar del tema de cómo Linares utilizó los lanzadores, cómo Linares utilizó la banca. Yo pensé que la banca debió haber sido utilizada de otra manera. Hubieron muchísimos jugadores que realmente no vieron juego, no le dieron juego. Y en momentos oportunos donde se necesitaba un batazo, no se hizo el movimiento. Nelson Cruz no tomó los suficientes turnos. Podemos ver también al mismo Robinson Cano, no batió lo suficiente, pero no solamente eso, sino que teníamos también a muchísimos jugadores en la banca que pudieron haber entrado a dar la talla con el bate. Segura, no sacaron a batear cuando podían haberlo utilizado. Por eso perdimos el clásico, por eso fuimos descalificados. Simplemente no jugamos, o sea, no pudimos materializar y jugar a la altura de nuestro potencial. Punto. Eso está claro, te lo dirá cualquiera de los jugadores que estuvieron ahí presentes. Y nada, ahora lo que hay que hacer es utilizar esta derrota como motivación para entonces en 3 años volver más preparados. ¿Qué podemos aprender de esta derrota y de esta experiencia para aplicar lo aprendido la próxima oportunidad?
Esa es la verdad, esa es la pura verdad.
Yeah, man.
Oh man,
And
eso me dio tan
I'll tell
duro.
you in English, Rodney, at the end of the day, just to translate
Yeah,
for our English speaking audience,
yeah.
Dominican Republic did not hit in the World Baseball Classic. We
Not at
simply
all.
were not able to put a rally together when we have bases on, runners on base, scoring position. We could not drive them home. We had a roster that was full of superstars. However, we were not able to play up to our potential. We weren't able to materialize our potential when it mattered. I mean, I think everyone on that team will tell you exactly the same thing. As far as criticizing what Linares did as a manager, I could say, hey, the way the pitching staff was handled, perhaps there were some things there that could have been done differently. And specifically, I'll talk about the hitters that were not used, that were still in the bench. When there were runners in scoring position at a very crucial moment. Nelson Cruz didn't go up to hit. Robinson Cano didn't go up to hit. Segura didn't go up to hit. Willie Willie didn't get to
No,
hit either.
I
And
was looking for Willie. Where was Willie at? My man was
Adames, come
there.
on, man, Adames, get Adames to hit. So yes, there were some mistakes made. Now it's time to say, okay, we got beat. Period, because we did not perform.
No,
And it's a short series, man. You cannot breathe. It's pretty much almost must
yeah,
win every single game.
yeah,
You cannot take a break. None of these guys were totally committed. It's just that the things did not pan out.
yeah.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah, man. Now listen, at the end of the day, We got an incredible WBC. It was entertaining. It was box office. It was pay-per-view level matches or games. I say matches because they felt like matches. Like you're watching these games and you're breathing, you're sweating. You're like you're just. It was.
insane,
I
brother.
felt like I was there, man. It was so good. And at the end of the day, we got entertained. We got baseball put on a level that hasn't been put on in a long time. I think they said for the final, I think it was almost 50% of television in Japan were watching the WBC. That is incredible.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Bottom line, we know that Japan were the world champions in the
Yeah.
WBC, but I think the biggest winner of all was baseball. I mean,
Yes.
this really tipped the scales out of all the other WBCs in the past. That were extremely successful.
Yeah.
This one just broke all the records, and I think it's going to continue to do so because I think the commissioner, baseball, the Players Association, the industry as a whole has realized that this is a global game. So
ratings spoke, man. The ratings were very, very good on channels worldwide, even in the States. I definitely think, I know that there was things that happened in terms of injuries and stuff like that, but just how they say injuries can happen anywhere. Spring training injuries can happen. You're not going to eliminate spring training. You know what I mean? So these things happen. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we got beautiful, beautiful games played. We were entertained. In the words of Maximus from Gladiator, are you not entertained?
Oh, we were entertained.
Is that not why you are here? That's what it is. So I loved it. It was great.
I'll tell you what. This actually leads me. This is perfect because Miguel came up with a very strong question. And we got, this quote of the day actually applies to the fact, República Dominicana, lost in the WBC. There are a lot of lessons to be learned there. The quote of the day comes from Henry Ford, and it says, "Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently." Ooh, that is legit. This is precisely what it's all about. So, Dominican Republic team, this is precisely what you do. The fact that they weren't able to capitalize and win and advance, it's an opportunity to just kind of reassess and begin again and do things differently. And that is the best thing you could do with failure is look back only to learn so that then you can apply what you've learned more intelligently in the future to help you succeed. So I thought that was very fitting. And it kind of pretty much wraps up this episode, and pretty much I hope that this puts Miguel at ease. Miguel,
a lot of us.
Yeah, man, I was crushed.
Mucha de la gente de nosotros aquí, mucha de la gente de nosotros aquí en Nueva York, en los Estados Unidos, estábamos tristes. Entonces, tú sabes, para ver un equipo así, con tanta potencial y tanta estrella y con el hype, porque todos estábamos hyped, y para perder así, tú sabes, fue duro y fue difícil, y ojalá que el equipo aprende para la próxima vez venir más fuerte y tener una mentalidad para hacerlo mejor. Y let's hope, man. Let's hope that for the next WBC things are better and we're able to succeed and go further and possibly win it.
And right here in Spanish, the quote of the day, el fracaso es una oportunidad para comenzar de nuevo más inteligentemente. O sea que está excelente esta frase para la pregunta que hizo Miguel. O sea que para encima, para adelante, seguir hacia adelante y vamos a aplicar lo aprendido para que la próxima vez no vaya mejor. Y creo que eso también podemos utilizarlo en nuestras vidas, en lugar de tener y llevar tal vez los fracasos en el pasado. Deberíamos aprender de nuestros fracasos y aplicar lo que aprendimos en nuestro presente para mejorar nuestro futuro.
Correcto.
Con eso, I think we can close with that.
This was a heck of an episode, man. We talked about the upcoming season. We gave predictions on awards, on postseason. We talked about WBC. We answered questions, man. This was a heck of an episode, Carlos.
Yeah,
you were great.
Now we're set for the season. This is gonna be the platform from which we take off from. So let's enjoy this 2023 MLB season. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here in Plakata Nation. Plakata!
Plakata out. Peace out.